Hey everyone, Jacob Schwartz here, and yeah, I'm finally uploading again. I know it took a long time. It's just I have online school and just been pretty lazy lately. But I haven't really had anything else to do right now, so thought I'd make a video. But I have been working on my paper train collection lately, and I have a lot of new locomotives and some new rolling stock. So mainly what's new here is, one of the more obvious ones that you can see right now is I actually made some more well cars. I have a total of 8 now. Before I used to only have 3. And I also made an additional covered hopper. Actually, I don't know if the other hoppers, the other cover hoppers that I have here, were in the last video before. But I also made a few box cars. This is one of them. I actually made that one last night, along with this hopper here. And for the first time in a long time, I actually have some tanker cars. I will take a closer look at those in a little bit. Next, I have a lot of new BNSF locomotives. Most of the locomotives I have, most of the equipment I have is going to also be for BNSF, and I'm going to start making some more Union Pacific locomotives. I made an ex-Southern Pacific AC6000, and I also have BNSF AC6000, which I made recently. So right here, these are my newest BNSF locomotives. I got an ST70 ACE, 2 ES4400s, the AC6000, which I mentioned before, a 3GS21B, if I actually remember the name right, and a GP40-2. As for recent foreign power that I've made, I have the ex-Southern Pacific AC6000 I mentioned before. Then I also have it's a NS ST40-2 in the Maersk Sealand scheme. I wanted to do this one for a while, and I was looking at pictures of it, and I thought it would be really cool to do. I will eventually make, forgot the road number for it, but it was an STP40F that they took the engine out of, and they had this locomotive push it around at the opening of a intermodal. Alright, that was kind of weird, but I just didn't have words for a second. Alright, after a good 15 seconds to think about stuff, so these are, I haven't really made many locomotives. These are the newest ones, and also another one is, something I might redo is I finally made an F59 PHI, and I made this to fit with the height of the Surfliner coaches that I have, which I made an additional one, but it is quite taller, and I'm not sure if I really don't know if I should redo it or not. The F59 PHIs were rather tall locomotives compared to other locomotives, but I really don't know. It looks good by itself with the Surfliner coaches, which I will show in a moment, but I really don't know. I've yet to make the Cascades one. I don't know if I will. Let me know down in the comments if I should leave it like it is or scale it down a bit. So next I'm going to talk about the newer freight cars that I have. And I have like a little yard set up here. There's supposed to be like 2 or 3 main tracks. This intermodal train is supposed to be on one of them, and then there's like a yard, but there's two tracks of motive power here, and then switcher with some cars being brought into the yard. So I'm gonna gather up the newer train cars that I've made recently, and I'm gonna take a closer look at some of them, like the tank cars and some of the well cars. Alright, Alright, so here are the new the newer train cars they've made. I have the 4 box cars, the 3 tanker cars, the new hopper car, and the 5 well cars that they've made. So first off, for the box cars I made, there are 4 of them. 2 of them are for TTX, and they are very similar, but the TTX logos are different. And these are all 60-foot high cube box cars. Then this one is for Union Pacific, and this one is for CP Rail. And I just didn't really have any box cars. Before I just had those 2, I think those were like 41-foot box cars. But other than that, I didn't have any box cars, so I made these. And I think they look really nice, and I'm surprised with how much detail I've been able to put into these compared to how it was before. I don't know if you noticed it in some of my videos, but there is weathering on them. There is weathering on a lot of the train cars that I've done more recently. I actually don't know if I started doing that before the last video I made on these. I don't know. This one isn't weathered. I forgot to do that one. The trucks I think are a bit weathered. I just go over it lightly with a brown pencil. So that's about it for these ones. Up next are the tanker cars. I have 3 of them. There will be a 4th one soon. I do have an additional template that I haven't made yet. But tanker cars are something I haven't really made before, just because the shape of them is kind of hard to get correctly. Because I tried to do my best with the rounded shape, and they turned out nicely. And something that was kind of unintentional is with these that actually opens. It's just with these pieces, these cylinder pieces, it's kind of hard to keep the top shut. It's kind of hard to do it with, and I use packaging tape for this because it's clear and it's strong, and it's better than Scotch tape. So if you're gonna do this, I recommend you use packaging tape. So these are based off of the .111 tanker cars, and the row numbers for these. If you were to look that up on Google, I haven't actually tried it out myself, but the exact car, some of the exact pictures I used for these cars will pop up. This one, you can't really see it on there, but it's there. So that's it for the tanker cars. Next is just a single covered hopper car. It's a BNSF hopper car, and there's not really a lot to say about it. I think it's a bit short, but like height-wise, but it's not that big of a deal. It's an extra train car that I have now. All right, now the 5 well cars I have. So if you remember before, I only had 3 well cars. I now have 8 because I made these 5, and they all have double stacked containers. And they are removable, which makes these the only train cars that actually have removable cargo. And unlike the other ones, I'll only grab one. So this is one of the original 3, and as you can see, there's not a lot of detail on the inside, but with the newer ones, there is. I don't really know if it's like that in real life. I couldn't find a lot of pictures of top view of the well cars without a container in them, so I'm not really sure, but I like the look of it. It's much better than just that. These new ones also do just in general have a lot more detail than the original ones, so happy about that. So with the new ones, there's 4 different variations of them. There is one for TTX. Then there's just this blank one, I guess. Then there's a blue one, and then a BNSF one. I do have a duplicate of the blue one. And then the containers just does include the ones from the original 3 well cars. I like how they turned out. It's supposed to be a 40-foot container stacked under. It's supposed to be a 53-foot container stacked on top of a 40-foot container to get this overhang effect. And then there's a single 40-foot container here. Then with this one, it's supposed to be a 53-foot container stacked on top of two 20-footers. There's nothing actually splitting them. It's just the standard 40-foot that I just made it look like it was two 20-footers. As for company names, I guess I don't really know how to say it correctly, like the proper term for it. There's a bunch of different variants I did not count, and I'm not really gonna bother to. There's three blank ones, or I guess four if you count the orange one. I forgot what company was trying to replicate that orange container with. But the blank ones are this one here, this one, and this one, and I guess this one. Yeah, but I do have some that have two of the same company name, but with slight variations. But the only two that are like that have a dry Marish container and a refrigerator Marish container. Then I also have two K-line 53-foot containers. So these two. I'm sure a lot of you out there, myself included, thought that this was pronounced Klein, but no, it's K-line. There's a bit of a gap in between them, but that's how you pronounce it. Or at least I think that's how it is. I don't know. And like I promised, I put together the F59 PHI with the four Surfliner cars I made. There was only three before, but I added a fourth one. And with the F59 and the Surfliner cars, just those, the F59 PHI, it doesn't really look oversized. But when I put it next to another train, it really does look a lot larger, especially next to the well cars. The well cars are with the containers. This is a tiny bit taller. You can't really see it that well because of the angle of the camera, but it is a tiny bit taller. And the F59 PHIs in real life, they do have a bit more height than the F59 PH because they're streamlined and they're supposed to match the height of the car. So I did my best to replicate it, and I might redo it. In terms of the paint job for this, I think I did a good job. You can tell me your opinions on it, and maybe even how I could improve upon it if I ever redo it, down in the comments. If I do redo it, though, it'll only be for the F59 PHI. The cars themselves, I don't really see much of an issue with them. This is just the size for the double-decker passenger cars I have. Compared to a Metra car, they're about the same size. The Surfliner cars are just a bit wider, but the Metra cars are a bit older. These were some of the original train cars I made. There is one mistake that I made with the Surfliner cars, though, and you can see it here. Doors are different height. All the doors should be at the height of the top deck, not the bottom deck. So that was one thing I messed up on. But because if it's in one consist, you're not really going to see it, but it's something that bothers me occasionally. So if I do redo this entire train, I will make sure to fix that. Alright, so that just about wraps it up. Be sure to like and subscribe, and click the bell notification so you don't miss out when I post a new video, which probably won't be for a little while. I really don't know, and I don't really know what else to say. It's been a while since I made a video. Happy Spooktober, yes. I don't know. Yeah, this month has gone by really quickly, but yet so slowly. Alright, I'm done talking.